Etymology and historical origin of the baby name Zechariah. Zechariah comes from the Hebrew name Zechariah, meaning Yahweh remembers. In the Bible, around the time the Persians conquered the Babylonians in the 6th century BC, the Jews were allowed to return from exile and rebuild their temple. God realized that the Israelites needed a little motivation and called upon the prophet Zechariah to help. In the Old Testament's book of Zechariah, the prophet reassures the people of Israel of God's continued covenant with them, and of his abiding comfort and care. In other words, Zechariah served to remind the Israelites that Yahweh remembers. According to Zechariah 1 verse 17, thus says the Lord, I will again comfort Zion and again choose Jerusalem. Aside from this Zechariah, there is also a New Testament figure by this name. It belonged to the father of John the Baptist. In this biblical story, Zechariah's wife Elizabeth became pregnant very late in life, way past childbearing years, and we mean way past. Zechariah didn't believe it and was thus struck dumb as punishment for his disbelief, i.e., he couldn't speak. After the baby John was born, his speech was restored to him, but any relevant remarks he may have made are lost to history. It must not have been too bad, however, because he was named a saint and his feast day is celebrated on November 15th. The English would eventually swap the E for an A and change it to Zachariah, the more popular version today. The Puritans revived the name in the 17th century during and after the Protestant Reformation. Zechariah with an E is more true to the ancient and Hebrew biblical version. Personality of the boy named Zechariah. The number 7 personality is deeply mystical and highly in tune with their spirituality. They operate on a different wavelength than the average Joe. Spending time alone comes easily to 7s, as it gives them time to contemplate philosophical, religious, and spiritual ideas in an effort to find real truth. 7s are wise, but often exude mystery as if they are tapped into something the rest of us don't understand. They love the outdoors and are fed by nature. 7s are constantly seeking to understand human nature, our place in the universe, and the mystery of life in general. This makes them quite artistic and poetic, but they are also keen observers with high intellect, so they are equally scientific-minded. 7s are charitable and care deeply about the human condition. Popularity of the boy named Zechariah. Zechariah is not as popular as Zechariah in America, and it hasn't been around as long either, which is ironic because Zechariah is the more ancient version of the name. Though Zechariah is more anglicized and easier to shorten to Zach or Zachary, Zechariah is definitely closer to the Hebrew origin. We're guessing this may be the spelling preferred by Jewish folks. Zechariah first appeared on the American male naming charts in 1986, and it has since risen to levels of low but respectable usage. In fact, he's not too far behind his more popular brother Zechariah. It just comes down to spelling preference with this one. There's no reason you can't use the nickname Zach with Zechariah either. Or even Zach or Zeke. Some people consider Zechariah a possible female name, but at least the way God remembers from a biblical perspective, Zechariah is all male. Quick facts on Zechariah. Gender, boy. Origin, Hebrew. Number of syllables, 4. Ranking popularity, 680. Pronunciation, Zekharyah. Simple meaning, Yahweh, God, remembers. Characteristics of Zechariah. Imaginative, intuitive, eccentric, mystical, wise, solitary, philosophical. Cultural references to the baby name, Zechariah.